Hi, I'm Ed McFarland, the chef owner of Ed's Lobster Bar, and I got a special haircut just for you for this episode. We're gonna make American breakfast. I didn't say Ed's Eats.
No.
We're gonna make my version, or a simple version of an American breakfast. We have bacon, we're gonna make maple pancakes and fried eggs. All the ingredients are laid out here in front of me. The bacon, I'm gonna get it right in the oven so it gets cooking. It's gonna take about 20 to 30 minutes laid out on wax paper or parchment paper in the oven. This is a neat, easy, and clean way to cook bacon where you don't have grease all over your stove. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that right in the oven. I'm gonna come back and explain everything else we have going on here. For the maple pancakes, I have everything out. And the reason I have everything this way is I have small kids, and in the beginning, rather than have them dip their pancakes in maple syrup and having a mess everywhere, I got all the flavor I wanted inside the pancakes this way. And yes, they're sugary and sweet, but it's a treat. It's not an everyday item. So I have whole wheat flour. I like to use whole wheat flour instead of white flour. I like to think it's a little bit healthier. I made my own half and half by mixing half a cup of heavy cream and half a cup of milk. We have turbinado sugar, maple sugar, applesauce, baking powder, organic maple syrup. Behind me on the stove I have melted butter, which is gonna go in as well. And one little thing, to make our pancakes a little bit lighter and fluffier, we're gonna whip our egg whites separately and then fold that into the batter. So whipping the egg white is an optional step. You can just go ahead and crack your egg right in with the milk and cream, mix it with the applesauce together. We will always mix our dry ingredients into the flour first and our wet ingredients separate, and then combine them together afterwards. But like I said, the egg white is an optional step. It's not necessary, and we're adding baking powder, so that's gonna give you the fluff anyway. But I do both because it gives it that extra little lift and lightness to the recipe. So I'm gonna get started first by taking my sugar, both of them, dropping them right into the flour, the baking powder. I'm going to mix that around. The basic immersion attachment I'm going to use for mixing the half and half with the maple syrup, the egg yolk, and the applesauce. If you don't have that, you can just make a well in the middle of your flour, drop all the wet ingredients in, quickly mix them together, and then combine everything around it. So I'm going to push this bowl off to the side. Pour in our maple syrup. Add in our applesauce. I'm going to separate my egg by cracking it and just dropping it right through my fingers. The egg yolk will stay right in your hand while the white will drop right into your bowl. We will drop our egg yolk right into the half and half mixture. I'm going to rinse my hands off really quickly. Just in case anybody was wondering, I do wash my hands before I start any of these recipes, so my hands are clean. I know that can be a big issue for some people, but they're clean. We're gonna put a pinch of salt in now, in with the egg whites. And you can either whip these by hand with a whisk, or you can use an immersion blender with a whisk attachment. I like to use the immersion blender with the whisk attachment because it just happens to be a lot faster, and whipping egg whites is very tedious. So you'll see here that it just mixes really nice and easy, and we want to get to a stiff heat. So that means the egg whites will fluff up and be very firm, kind of like a meringue. Make sure you use a large bowl for this so that you're not shooting egg white all over the counter, but you see this is a stiff peak. It's all standing up. So I'm going to remove this attachment. We're going to set our egg whites on the side because that's going to be the last thing that gets mixed into our bowl. So our bacon's been cooking for about 20 minutes, and I'm going to pull this out and put this on some paper. And I'm going to save that bacon fat because I'm going to cook the eggs in that bacon fat. So I'm going to drain the bacon in between paper towel to get the excess fat off. So one of the great things about making bacon is having that extra bacon fat to use. And I know you're cooking in the oven, so you don't think you're going to get that bacon fat, but I'm going to drain the bacon fat off of my sheet pan, and we're going to save that, and we're going to cook our eggs in that bacon fat. We want to do this while it's warm. So it just drains right off the pan. Look at that. That is a lot of goodness right in there. Bacon fat for cooking potatoes, for eggs, vegetables. Maybe not the healthiest way to cook, but definitely one of the more delicious ways. And if you're making tater tots one day at home because you're making a quick meal, cook your tater tots in a pan in bacon fat. I'm telling you, it's a thumbs up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move my bacon fat back over by the stove, out of the way. And we're gonna finish over here. We're going to add the immersion attachment onto our hand blender. Quickly pulse our half and half mixture with the syrup, applesauce, and egg yolk. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the attachment so I don't drip the mixture all over the place. And that's just a way for me to keep things a little bit neater as I'm working. And once again, we're going to make a well in the center of our flour. Pour that right in. So the ratio for pancakes is going to be 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of milk, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now, you can substitute heavy cream or half and half. I like half and half because I think it makes a richer, more tasty pancake. But by all means, milk in this recipe is fine. And like I say, I always like to keep it simple. So you can see the thickness and consistency of the batter. Honestly, if you go ahead and taste this right now, it tastes like cake batter. It's really, really delicious. And we're gonna take our melted butter, we're gonna drop that in, and I add the melted butter before the egg whites, simply because I don't wanna pour the melted butter in after I've mixed the egg whites in, because it will deflate the egg whites. We have a quick mix here. Nice buttery goodness here. We're going to take our egg whites and we're going to just slowly mix this around. We don't want to go too heavy. We want to keep the air in the egg whites. And if we overmix it, we'll start to deflate our egg whites. And you see I'm just folding with the whisk. If you're more comfortable using a spatula, go ahead and use a rubber spatula for this. And this is the pancake batter. It's a little thicker. It all depends on your preference here. If you like your pancake batter a little bit thinner, go ahead and add a little bit more milk right now. It's the heavy cream that's making this a little bit thicker. Our batter's complete. We're ready to make our pancakes. These are going to be thick, fluffy pancakes. Thinner, doesn't really matter. That's your own preference. What makes the biggest difference is that your griddle is hot enough. If you want to have beautiful looking pancakes, make sure you warm your griddle up at least 15 minutes before you want to cook these pancakes. So I've had the griddle on and going while I've been making this whole mix. I have it on medium-low. I started it on medium and turned the gas down. And that is going to be the biggest tip to making sure that your pancakes look beautiful every time you cook them. Doesn't matter the mix, it matters how much heat you have underneath it. So we're going to walk right over to the stove here behind me, and we're going to start cooking our pancakes. We're going to make our eggs, and we're going to eat our American breakfast. Okay, so I have my griddle, super warm. One thing that I'm gonna do is every batch of pancakes, I add a little knob of butter. And that just helps add to that delicious flavor. It makes some beautiful golden pancakes. once I have the pancakes flipped over and I'm getting ready to put my second batch of pancakes on, that's when I'm gonna start cooking the fried eggs. And I've pre-opened the eggs. I like to crack them into a bowl to make sure that we're not breaking any yolks. It's very easy to break an egg yolk. So I've cracked them in advance, and you'll see them. I'm gonna pull it up right here. I have 2 beautiful eggs right here in a bowl, ready to go, next to my bacon fat. So you can see the pancakes are starting to bubble. Once you start to see them bubble, they're pretty much almost ready to be flipped. Now my griddle's pretty hot, so you're gonna see that the color on my pancakes is really nice. So we're gonna go ahead and flip that over. Look at the color on the pancakes here. And sometimes you have a little trouble when you flip it. It happens. But look at these, look at the color. And this is all because my griddle was hot at the right temperature. I warmed it up, I turned it down, and you can see how they're fluffing up really nicely on there. So once these pancakes come off, that's when I'm gonna start, and I put the next batch of pancakes on. We can just cut this excess pancake off there and flip it over, but you know, keep it simple always. Doesn't have to be perfect round. As long as you're cooking it correctly and you have the right color, that's what you're really concerned about in the taste afterwards. So I always put a fresh knob of butter on before each batch of pancakes. Really, to me, makes a big difference, especially in the way they cook and the way they taste. And the batter's a little thick, so I'm pushing the pancake down a little bit as I put it on. You can cook the eggs directly on this griddle top once you're done with the pancakes, or we can cook them in a non-stick pan, which I have right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat up my non-stick pan. I'm going to put a little bit of the bacon fat in. And if you're afraid of the splashing eggs, I have a lid on the side here. You can cover them quickly. And now this is purely preference, everybody. How you like your eggs cooked is personal. If you like them sunny side up, over easy, over medium, well done, you want scrambled eggs, that's all your own choice. We're gonna make the eggs over. So basically over easy, over medium, where the white is setting and the yolk is still very runny. As always, in a non-stick pan, we wanna have a rubber spatula so we don't scratch it. So one of the reasons I like using this pan to make the eggs for this dish is because we're gonna have perfectly round eggs. It's gonna look beautiful on the plate. One of the reasons I like using the non-stick pan for the eggs is because it's very easy to cook the eggs in, it's very easy to flip them over, and they won't spread out and run like they will on your griddle. And you can see once again, the pancakes are cooking to a very consistent color across the whole thing, all because the griddle was warmed to the right temperature ahead of time. I'm going to cover those eggs, and it'll help them cook a little bit quicker. Also keep me from getting splashed with the hot bacon fat. I'm gonna give you a little technique here that we used to do at home growing up. As opposed to flipping the eggs over, you can take that nice bacon fat and turn the gas down a little bit so you're not burning your hand. Tilt the pan and keep pouring the bacon fat over the top. And then you're really gonna get a lot of flavor in there. And you see it really just helps it cook really nicely. So just to show you how easy it is to flip the eggs in here, quickly flip them. We're gonna count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Quickly put those on our plate, and they look beautiful. And I'm gonna sprinkle a little salt on them afterwards. And I have plenty of bacon fat still in here, so I'm gonna drop my next set of eggs right in here. And nobody eats breakfast alone, or not very often. I shouldn't say nobody eats breakfast alone. But nobody's making all this food if you're eating alone. So while those are cooking, I'm gonna get another batch of pancakes on, just to keep it going. And like I said, always add more butter onto your griddle. That is definitely a key to making great pancakes. So I'm separating these eggs out here just to flip them over. I'm flipping them over a little bit earlier as opposed to basting them. So this way the white gets cooked a little bit more quickly flipped over. Just to show you a couple of different techniques. These are the first 2 eggs that we basted, and these are the 2 eggs that I made as a true over easy. You see the difference? We're gonna get our bacon right on this tray, and we're gonna go sit down and eat. So I have my beautiful pancakes, my fried eggs, my bacon. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of this beautiful gray sea salt on top. And man, am I ready to eat. And I'm gonna go without toast with this because I'm gonna dip my pancake right in the egg yolk. But if you want, get that toast nice and buttered to dip those eggs, super runny yolks. This is the perfect breakfast. Who wants to join me and sit down and eat this? Because I'm super excited right now to eat this beautiful breakfast. So look at this. You can make American breakfast at home. You know how to make pancakes. You can make eggs. You can make bacon. You can make this plate. This is my ultimate American breakfast. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this. I love pancakes, I love eggs, and I love bacon. I think it's 3 items that almost everybody loves to eat. So before I dig into this delicious breakfast, I want to thank you for watching these videos, liking them, making comments, and subscribing to the Ed's Lobster Bar YouTube channel and watching these Ed's Eats videos. I'm really grateful that all of you tune in each week to watch this and to watch me enjoy my meal. I hope that you're going to cook along at home with this. Any questions, recipes, DM us. We'll respond back as quickly as possible. Now I got to dig in here before this gets cold. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to take this pancake and eat it like it's toast. Oh man. I'm telling you, what a difference it makes to have the maple syrup inside your pancake. Just the flavor alone is great. And you know what's great about this too? Is you can basically make a little sandwich with this. Super messy, but we're gonna just go right in there and get everything all together. Hope I don't have too much egg on my face. Now that's the way to eat this breakfast. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time on Ed's Eats.